Just didn't have any stress in my life, so luckily.
Chief is coming in a minute, so give her just a second if you don't mind.
Okay.
So I was wondering, where no Lowell, no Roxy? I mean, I'm cool with Ben.
Just Ben?
I mean, I'm cool with all y'all. Sylvia, the look you gave me when you cut me off bumping gangster music.
Sorry.
Some thug stuff.
Had I known it was you.
You would have done it worse.
Okay, we found her. Did you want anything on the screen, or did?
I think, yeah, to show the whole thing.
On this one, we just hook you up directly.
Okay.
That's the-
Oh, it's this one.
Is it this one or the one she's got?
That's the electricity.
It's this one.
I could see the other end of the plug.
I couldn't see.
Let me go get my charger. Let me see. Okay.
Oh.
Does anybody have a key? Or is it open?
We have a minute because she's got to run back anyways.
What?
I said she had to run back for her charger anyway, so we have a minute that we can.
Yeah, I think it's like it's resting on the cord
It's not
on one
gonna,
side.
it's not gonna get any better. You take it down, it's gonna be one.
How about if I hold it?
Yeah, you do that.
Does it have pegs on the front though?
Nope.
Yeah, it's got
No.
one.
Can you put it?
Actually, that's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just
Yes.
like that.
That's just on the cord.
Do this, do that.
Who? What's her name? Third grade teacher?
Hey, it got you some space.
It sure did. Much appreciated too. TV trays.
Not sure if we're, do you need snacks? Or snacks?
Just in case, popcorn.
Yeah.
Just in case. I wasn't charging earlier.
Okay. So, wonder if I can. All right, so we turned a lot of this language green. So I'm going to scroll to anywhere that we have a difference. And we didn't send over y'all's pay scale to us, but we accept that one. And so it's just reflected in the stipends, and we turn that all green. Basically, all the stipends are currently $175. We hadn't talked about this, and I don't think we had heard a response, but right now what we do is if you are doing anything besides a 24-hour shift, you get the stipend, so we just added that for clarification.
Okay, we'll discuss that. I don't think we had a chance to
Yeah,
catch up on that one either.
I think when y'all returned, it was a lot from your language, just so that we could get an idea. This is what I had shared with y'all about the retirement attainability. I don't think it's any surprise to anybody that working 40 years on an ambulance is very, very challenging, or as a commander or promoting up. Unfortunately, so many of our team are not here because, either vacation or they're doing interviews for new hires, or they had to work CHIP. But Kim, for example, shared with us that even though she's been with the department 9 years, she still has 30 more to go before retirement. So this was one of our members' biggest priorities. We recognize that a lot of this does have to do with the ledge, and it will be very difficult given where our pension system is. And so we just wanted to talk about, because we think going to the ledge is not the only way to think about retirement attainability. That's why we talked about the 457 match, because if you can do 30 years and then bridge to 62, there are a lot of different things that we've talked about, even if we can help our members understand how to save money better themselves. And so, you know, we talked about within the union hiring a financial advisor to talk to people about what their plans are and help them plan their money better as well. So I think there are a lot of options that we're looking at as a union, but we also want to talk to the city about, in case there might be some ledge possibility, in case there might be some policy changes within the city that are doable. A lot of them are not, because they do have to go before the ledge, but we just want to explore all these options.
And I think we understand this, you know, coming in has always been one of your top priorities, and realizing that it can't happen in this particular contract cycle
Right.
doesn't mean we're not interested in working toward that with you.
Yeah.
As we move forward, we will have a couple of tweaks to the language,
Sure.
but conceptually, we're with you on this.
Okay. Okay, we accepted your changes on the readiness. We just wanted to have another conversation about the blue language, and Houston's gonna talk about that.
Yeah, so I just kind of had some questions regarding just to me, you know, I view the sections, or the one sentence saying that it's not subject to a grievance, that is a bit unnecessary because of as you had pointed out, the subjective nature of the term best efforts. And so I was really trying to get an understanding as to why we would still, because in my opinion, and I would be the one probably, you know, advising on grievances, the term best efforts is so extremely subjective in nature that I don't even believe that there would be a need to appeal or to aggrieve that ever. And so for me, the addition of a sentence saying that it is not subject to grievance is unnecessary. And so that is just my question as to why y'all believe that one sentence is necessary, given that's like best efforts is so extremely subjective that I don't know, I can't think of a way that I would even advise my client that
I
we
can
should
tell you, we're
grieve
very
that.
glad to hear that. Not every attorney would agree with that, however, and that is just as you know, a term that's so subjective that to not have this in there that you think is unnecessary. We certainly don't think it hurts you to put it in there, but this is one of those things where it's not gonna happen every single time. And
Mhm.
best efforts literally means best efforts. And if it doesn't happen, you know, it doesn't carry over, you guys don't have a problem with that, you understand, we're gonna try to make it happen. This is the first time we're committing to trying to make that happen.
Mhm.
And we see this as the commitment of the department, more than a commitment, we're putting it in the contract that we'll do best efforts. At the same time, this is a first try at this, a first stab, so we would be much more comfortable with
Okay.
the grievance being just completely eliminated, even if your intent is not to do it.
Yeah,
I think it's just kind of a feel-good on our
That's kind of what I
part, you
was,
know, yeah.
what I was thinking. And so along those lines, would y'all mind if we added a phrase such as what y'all had added under leave buyback, where it doesn't bind us in any future agreements? Like, 'cause
Well,
I'm just saying.
as far as an unnecessary comment goes, I don't think we would have a problem with adding something to this that says this section.
Or this,
It
because
doesn't-
that's what we have in another section, that it's not binding on future agreements. And so I would just think that, I want to make sure that our intent is clear, that we
Okay.
do not plan on grieving anything that is of a subjective nature, But and that's just me spitballing with you, so I'm not like saying this is something we've discussed.
No, I just think that would be to our benefit to put that in this section as well.
Yeah,
That
see?
we're not bound to do this section in any future agreements.
Yeah.
The other one, we consider it a pilot program, and it happened to be in the last year is why we had added
Okay.
that language, kind of like in the fire, it didn't have to be carried over from year to year,
Mhm.
but because this was in the last year on the leave buyback, that's the only reason we put
Okay.
that in there. But on this one, again, it's a trial program, so if you would like to add that to this whole section, I don't think we
Yeah,
would
let
have an
me-
issue with it.
yeah, let me,
I think
go
that's
through
to
it.
our benefit though, but.
Yeah, I mean, I would see it as both, but, you know, hey, that's what we're here for, is both of our business, that's right. There we go.
Happy to look at that.
We're starting off on the same page, Sarah. I like it.
Let's just see where we hit.
All right, you can go ahead, sorry.
Yeah. Because we added that task force, Houston cleaned up all the language and just made task force 2 words. This is all agreed to. We saw your leave buyback. We included some of the language and just wanted to either talk about and not include in our offer to you since since this is the first time that we presented some of it, but this is just what our response would be to what y'all sent over and would love to talk about it. But we have accepted this language, and I know, I didn't want to turn it green in case, since we hadn't agreed on the full totality of the
Sure.
language. Y'all had added 2 things that we have not included. One, y'all had members could only sell sick leave if they had 240 hours. And, we copy and pasted the language from the fire department, and we left that out and turned it into 192 just because of the difference in the work week hours, if that makes sense. Because 240 hours is basically a month, and so for us, 192 is basically a month.
So this is A you're talking about here?
Yeah, so y'all had language that said that they had to they had to have a bank of 240, and so we're saying 192 for us.
We'll look at that.
Yeah, look at that. You'll see it. Y'all had a different A, and we just struck it because we think that our A accounts for that, but it's just a prorating of our hours a week.
Yeah. Your original A just said that they have to have a minimum balance of 240
Mhm.
of sick leave to be eligible.
Okay.
The other thing that y'all included in your language from the fire contract is the person couldn't have used more than 24 hours of sick time in a 6-month period. We did not include that because I think when we look at our workload and we look at just the fact that we're in the medical field, we recognize that illness and burnout, mental health issues can be higher. And so we don't want to, have somebody like go to work sick, go to work when they really shouldn't, and incentivize that. And so that's why we left that out. I'm not entirely sure why fire kept that in, but I think it would be difficult to use a lot of sick time and then still be eligible for this, so we just didn't think that was necessary. But if y'all know the reason why fire had it in or felt like that was necessary, would love to hear that. But we just left it out for us because we didn't want to incentivize people coming to work sick or incentivize people not taking their benefit time as needed.
Yeah, no, we will look at that. I don't know the answer off the top of my
Okay.
head.
And y'all added hours, and that's of course appropriate, but we did not, or OU, and we did not include that, but we should have. Y'all had some tweaks, and we do accept that. So everything here we do accept, and if y'all want to add in the other language, then we can definitely talk about it. We just want to know the reason why.
Okay, so really just 2 conceptual differences on that?
Yes,
Okay.
y'all had 240, and then you cannot sell back if you've used 24 hours.
24 hours, okay.
With the immediately preceding 6 months.
Yeah.
Great.
Article 12. So I think we're still this should be all green. Houston is going through. So the reason why we spent so long in the room is we just continue to talk about the division chief issue. And as I had shared before with you, that we had a final offer that included division chiefs and an offer that did not include division chiefs. We're under the offer that we gave last. We did use your language. I understand that there are other reasons to use your language. We believe that this comes from the firefighters. So we did use your language, but then, because we were switching to your language, we really wanted to study it and make sure that it was appropriate. Do you want to talk about the deletion for and 143?
Yeah, so I was, going back to the Texas Local Government Code, when you go to 311 or 143.311 specifically is only referring to fire and police, and it's under subchapter I, and all of it is pertaining to subchapter I only. We're not under subchapter I, and I understand that we may be trying to refer to similar processes, but it just seemed as if that was something that may have been taken from another contract that would not apply to us. And I understand there's restrictions, and 143.311 is specifically referring to 143.014C, and that has to do with number of police and the number of division or number of assistant chiefs that they would be able to appoint, and appointments based on number of specific employees for each department. And that is it's just not applicable to subchapter K, where our civil service provision resides, and does not seem, we could say something referring to 143.014C if that is the intent of the city. Because this is coming from previous contracts, and I just want to make sure that we are being very specific about what codes we're referencing and whether or not they have any applicability to our contract, to our process at all. And so if y'all want to take a look at that, it's not hiding the ball or anything like that. I just do not believe 143.311 has any bearing on subchapter K, our civil service, or anything along, or EMS civil service at all.
So if y'all can just look at that and let us know what the intent is. We just don't think it applies to EMS. And again, so, any offer below the one that we had sent over last week, we had said we would not accept any division chiefs. I just want to call to y'all's attention that we feel like 6 division chiefs, and we know we do have 9 division chiefs, and 4 assistant chiefs, that is a sufficient number of folks for the chief to appoint. When we look at APD and AFD, APD has 6 assistant chiefs and 18 commanders. That's their division chief equivalent. And AFD has 6 division chiefs and 6 assistant chiefs and 8 division chiefs. And we have 4 assistant chiefs and 9 division chiefs. And so we really feel like, and they have a mix of appointed and tested. And so we do really value having some folks that are tested. I think that the field really valued seeing having a actual division chief test and felt like it was very fair. I think our biggest issue that right now we can be promoted from medic to clinical specialist to captain to commander, and if we remove all the positions to division chief, that means that we only have 3 appointed positions, whereas fire and police both have 4 or 5 ranks that you can promote through. And so we're really, in some ways, cutting your ability to promote through the ranks by doing that. And we already have the least number of ranks compared to the other 2. So if you're in fire or police, you can promote so many more times than you can in EMS. And so to prohibit the division chief promotion, it further creates barriers to having that promotional process when we already have few of them.
And that could likely also just work against recruitment, because if people see that they have a certain cap on a career advancement, then that might incentivize them to go elsewhere or to leave prematurely and not be able to retain people who had their goals set on achieving a higher rank.
And all of the APD's versions of division chiefs are tested.
Yeah, and I would just
Yeah.
reiterate, that is a deal killer for us. We do not think the chief is appointing anybody who's not within your ranks.
But he can't.
It's still promotable. It's just an appointment. I don't believe this is intended to be from outside the department, is it?
What's that?
The appointment process of the
Mhm.
chief?
Mhm.
Yeah, if that's one of your concerns. The intent is not, make it not testable, but an appointment process where he selects from within the department.
Mhm.
I believe that's our intent, we
Yeah.
can confirm that. But regardless, we still see that as a career path for your employees, regardless of how they get there.
Yeah, understood.
I mean, I understand that, and I don't believe that anyone in the association doubts the intentions of the chief or of the city. It's a matter of, one, preserving civil service protections and rights, that there should be an ability to advance your career beyond just being appointed, because earned benefits and earned merit is definitely something upon which we should build. And so when giving up all opportunities to advance your career, that is a major disappointment to a lot of people. And so while we totally understand, that is not why civil service was created. For this purpose, we want people to be able to earn their spot. And the reason that civil service even got implemented to begin with is because we allowed people to appoint high-level positions to arbitrarily choose their pay, and then that worked to the detriment of those who were not in the favor of those in power, or those who did not even have the power to sit at the table. And so that is something that is very important to the membership, and understandably it is important, and definitely within certain inherent management rights that the chief should be able to appoint certain positions. But I think that we would like for the city to understand how important that is to labor in general, that people are able to earn their way to a position, to promote their earning it, and not just solely through appointments, because that cuts off any advancement unless you are appointed. And that is what this does. There's no guarantees that division chiefs will be expanded, which would allow for promotional achievement. So we have no guarantee for it, and so that does not guarantee anyone can go beyond the rank of commander unless the chief chooses to. And so I think that in and of itself, to go so outside of what civil service allows, I think that needs to understand that is a huge ask for the city to be asking that, to say you are voluntarily giving up the right to promote based on your merit alone.
I think we 100% understand that that's a big ask. That's why we have the money we have on the table, and that's the only reason we have it on the table. I think we've made that pretty clear. We do get it. We understand the history of civil service, although we thank you kindly for the lesson. We get it.
But
That is why we have this extraordinary amount of
But
money
I
on
think you
there,
should also,
because
I don't want
this
you to talk
union
about
has
the
been
money. No,
Hold
I don't
on a
think you need to
second.
listen to me, because the money that you keep
I-
throwing out there.
I was
that-
talking before
I
you
understand that,
interrupted me,
but
sir.
I'm gonna talk over you just as has been done to me before, because the money is what they have already earned. It is the value that they have provided to the city. And it's not just because you're asking them to give up rights for money, as opposed to paying them what they have earned and what their value is. That is how you were phrasing that argument. And if you would like to rephrase it, I'm more than welcome that.
I don't want to rephrase it.
Okay.
I have said the reason the extraordinary amount of money is on the table is for that reason.
Okay.
Because this union has sat and cooperated with us 100% of the time. We are not at odds with this union. We are not having any controversy with any of these membership in the
Yeah.
union. The only raised voices I hear are not the membership. We are listening to them. We are hearing them. We do believe it's an extraordinary amount of money. We honestly do.
I understand.
We believe we've asked this. We believe we did not get it from another union. And that's why we're where we are.
Understood. So we did make some other changes. Please send over, since we are now working from your language. For this, we understood that your concerns. We still think that being a little bit more vague is helpful, just in case there's any. We didn't want to be so specific, so we just said by state or federal contract, memorandum of understanding, interlocal agreement, or some other agreement. I know we had kind of talked about the exact phrasing, so if you still don't like this and want to go back to the original, I don't think we have a lot of heartburn, but we just wanted to see if this would be just a tiny bit more vague, but also not touch special events or Travis County.
Yeah, let us discuss
Okay,
that.
yeah, because it says state or federal. And then we accepted your language about crossover promotions to the 1 year. I think this is all agreed to. There might be still some blue in the rest of this, but it is agreed to. I think Houston did a pretty good job getting all the blue, or all the blue. We accepted your language about reappointments. We did want to just discuss, you had said step 2, and that was confusing to us because we kind of talk about the steps have like 10, 20, 30, 40, and then the year is year 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we just want to, we were all like, oh, did they mean like,
Okay,
see
well,
what I'm saying?
yeah, we'll look at where that fits
Yeah,
in.
because then we were like, oh, maybe they're open to like actual, when you get a step raise at step raise 2. So
Yeah,
I
no,
just,
we'll look at that.
yeah,
I
so that's why
understand
we
what
tried
you're
to clarify here, but.
Understood.
And that was mostly my confusion, because I'm not in that system.
We turned this language to green. And then we have hiring, and then again, we have accepted your language about coming in 2 years or more. We wanted to know, and you see the step 20,
Yeah.
I think anyway, I think y'all just tell us what y'all were actually thinking, because we still have base year, and so, we might just want to be a little bit more consistent in all those. But we had put in language about, having the, trying to quantify what experience chief would accept. And so that's why we put paramedic or communications experience in a primary 911 system, and y'all had taken that out. And I was just curious if that was just because y'all hadn't actually talked about it, or if it was something y'all intentionally rejected.
We did talk about it, but it's been quite some time, so let us revisit that.
Okay,
Yeah.
I think we went through it really quickly, so we didn't really get to hear why y'all went back to that language. We also,
Okay.
yeah, we had lots of conversation about, we do have, I think, 10 clinical specialists, maybe. We have 10-ish clinical specialists that we've already hired through the lateral hire process, and so we wanted to make it consistent and bump them up too. Otherwise, if they have had more years of experience, it is possible that they could quit, come back, and I think that's why we did that for reappointments too, because we don't want them to do that. So we added in language that they would be bumped. And then We, movement through the pay scale, this was language from our modified hiring process in 2018. And so take a look at that language, and basically it kind of freezes them until they catch up, because we just don't want there to be a lot of red circles. And we also, I know that we consider, or that y'all consider it a bundle with the reappointments. We still think that our reappointments are more valuable just because they have been through the academy, they've been through the clearance process. They don't have to go through those things. They already understand operations in a deep way. Just as a person.
On that one, on
Yeah.
C, I can
Yes.
tell you, we specifically did not intend for that to be
Okay.
included here for the reason that we've kind of explained is the overarching principle there of if you're trying to entice somebody from the side to come in, then you want them to be able to move through
Okay.
the pay scale instead of being stuck right there. That was kind of our same answer on the promotional seniority concepts, but this for sure
Okay.
is not intended by us.
Okay. Yeah. The only example I was gonna give is that I did take a leave of absence from the department, 3 months, and I will just say that it was only 3 months, but I just understand how much quicker somebody who has taken even an extensive break here, because we've had people that have left the department and been reappointed, I think, within 6 months. You just are really skipping so many steps in coming back than a direct hire does. That's why we're just saying we still think that reappointments should be, have some different privileges than direct hires. And that is the end of that, and we have sent this over to you.
Okay. Questions? Any questions? All right, we'll take a look.
Okay.
There might be a few more like grammar stuff.
Yeah, I
like
saw there was
random.
one
I-
in service.
I missed, out of like 50, 60 pages, I think I missed
Okay, y'all set? Okay. Just go through and mark anything. Oh, I still have stuff in here too that isn't greened out. That doesn't mean it's not greened out, it's just, so the first, in this section, we did accept the administrative.
And then, is there a new link, or is it the same link? Same link?
Usually is. It's usually not.
Same link? Okay.
You want me to hang on a sec?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we just have some folks saying it's not working.
No worries.
Okay, I think we're good now.
Okay, so in the section 6, Article 6, we did accept the and an administrative there. In section 12, we modified the language a little bit. We thought it's probably not the best idea to have a committee that's 100% made up of the people who would benefit from the recommendation, which would include, you know, command staff
Mhm.
as appointed by the chief. So we made it a committee and added 3 members appointed by the city manager. Just changed contract to agreement. And we'll let you take a look at that, but that's basically the intent of that, is to kind of have a 9-person committee, then 3, 3, and 3.
Sure.
Also, we definitely wanted somebody from Ed or Ed's staff to be able, who actually, you know,
Yeah.
from the city's perspective, deals with that sort of thing.
Understood.
Here, we did leave that in there after our last conversation. It seemed like that was amenable at that point. So Article 9, Section 7 is the next place. So I think this is all good, this is all good. Okay, so this, we did accept all of this. The explanations that you gave us made sense. The deletion that you gave us, we understood your rationale behind that, so we've turned all this to green. So the next place, Article 12, Part C 1A, which is division chiefs, of course. Let me get there. This is the most annoying article in the world.
I know, I really feel like we could have done it one time and had different formulas and, you know.
And also, but there's, at least there's no lag over here.
What do you mean?
Like how
No,
on
the
computers.
third grade teacher projector solved that.
Yeah,
You know?
that's a good point.
One of those old ones with the, you write on them.
Okay. I'm getting there. Okay, so on this, we did revert to our original language. On this part, Houston.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily agree with you that that's not made applicable through 142, but we also didn't want to argue it at that point, so we just
Yeah.
put as otherwise applicable.
Okay.
So that if it's inapplicable, you can argue it at that time.
That's cool. Makes
Um,
sense.
The other thing is, we do believe that this H was intentionally left out here, so we did not include that in our provision here.
What would be the explanation for?
Yeah, so let me have
removing
Ben
that?
go through that a little bit.
Yeah, so 143.014H, that's all with cause, so that.
Well, it's with cause, but then but allows for the, upon appeal. And if the appeal is or if the grounds that were considered a violation of civil service are unfounded, then you get put back into your previous placement.
So that's covered up here, though.
Right, so that's covered
here.
previously, and so in this sentence, it says the chief may remove without cause. So this would be specific to a without cause removal.
Yeah, so that's it. So up here, where it is included, versus down here,
I
without
understand.
cause. So we have deleted that there. You can consider that and don't have
Yeah.
to, you can think
Yeah,
that through,
I'll-
but that was our rationale there.
I get you.
So then, we did not accept the change in that.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna go down to reappointments. take me a minute. This has got to be dizzying to anybody on, watching it on the, online.
It's a blur.
That's probably true. Did I miss it? I did miss it. Okay, so here we have put in year 2, step 30.
Okay.
So that we used both to make it clear. And we also did that below, down here. So one of the other things that we noted is that although you stated that you deleted seniority for both reappointments and direct hire, this section here, we believe, is the seniority provision for promotion. So when it refers to section and above, that is the eligibility for promotion. So we left it as you have it, but we put it back in direct hire. So if your intent was to take it out, we can take it out, or we can leave it and leave it in direct hire. So we're good either way. We do think they should be parallel. We're thinking, you know, that the concepts were bargained for jointly. But, and I don't know that you intended this or didn't intend this, but that's how we read it, is that section and above is the promotional eligibility.
Can you, so are you saying that, I think our understanding of the current language is that they do not have seniority.
Well, so look here, but shall
Yeah.
not retain seniority for any purposes under this agreement
Mhm.
except as stated in section
Mhm.
and above.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to and above, that would mean this is the only place they do retain seniority, and that's the eligibility to take promotional examinations. So that's, you know, if that's the exception,
And fulfilling, can
But
you go
it,
back up just a
yeah.
second,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry.
Because it says, and fulfilling other time and grade and service requirements, and
Mhm.
so for us, that reads 2 and 4.
so it doesn't to us because that's the exception to that. So if they're retaining it for purposes, it's at a minimum ambiguous, let's
Okay,
put it that way.
sure, sure,
So,
okay.
so,
Let's work on,
Yeah.
so we can all get on the same page
yeah,
on
if
that.
the intent is to remove it from both, we would accept that.
Okay.
If the intent is to leave it for one and not the other, we're not good with that.
Okay.
So I, you know, not being accusatory, but that's how
Sure.
we took
Yeah.
it, so we just wanted to point that out, and we do have it in the other part, but we want it to be equivalent,
At
basically.
the very least, we can at least figure
Yeah.
out what that
Yeah.
language means.
Yeah, and so that's the only other change aside from the years and the steps in that section. And then I believe, let me double check, but I think the only other change is where that is placed back into the hiring. Yeah, so that's the only other change. So we're practically there, but we're not there. So same here. We did the year 2, step 30. And here is where we place that back in. You had that deleted, so
Okay.
think that one through on that. And then here, year 2, step 30, we did the same thing. We did delete C here. And that's it.
Okay,
So we have sent that over,
perfect.
and you can take a look.
Okay.
Any questions on?
I don't have any, do you have any right now?
No, I need to, once I read through, I'll
Okay.
reach out.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good?
We'll let you know, but I think we should be able to have a counter, but I'll let you know within 10 minutes or so.
Okay.
Just want my two things.
I was gonna try to save that. I was like, this isn't my computer. more button over here than at the other location. Good? Okay.
We know that the offer's on our side. We've had some time to look over all the language. We just need a little bit more time, and we already lost Lindsay to PTA, first meeting of the year, and for some of the last concepts that obviously are the most important, we just want our full team, or as much of our team possible. And, you know, like I said, we have somebody on deployment, somebody who had to work for other reasons. And so we wanted to finish out strong with as much of our team as possible.
Understand.
And we just want to have a full conversation with our team and think through how, you know, the city can get what the city wants and the association can protect some civil service rights.
Understood.
So-
Appreciate you coming back on the record
Yeah.
to just get that for anybody watching out there. But appreciate it, and we will see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Where are we at tomorrow?
We're at
Oh, with
PDC.
PDC?
Yes, yeah. 4001, the good one.